guys the final review of the 3 that I said that I would kind of edit and upload. This time it is all my own footage. Again, I don't know why Leaf Green Fire Red didn't, because I had done a Let's Play on it. Maybe I thought my footage wasn't good enough. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but I have the footage there. We'll see how it is. If the other one turned out to be a lie, I apologize, but it is Pokemon Mystery Gungeon Gates to Infinity. Yes, somehow I have footage for that of my own. Maybe I've matured since then and decided I could use my own footage for this one. Because honestly now, 90% of the time, guys, if I have my own footage, I use it rather than taking other people's credit for other work. There's sometimes where you have to, right? And sometimes, like because you can't record footage in one way, or it's very, very terrible footage at that. So, but anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed Pokemon Mystery Gungeon Gates to Infinity.
Friends, this is Jazz, bringing you a video game review. Actually, to be fair, it's a redo of my Pokemon Mystery Gungeon Gates to Infinity review. I feel I did not really concentrate to do justice for it. I did bring up points, but I was more all over the place, so I might still be a little all over the place, but I'm going to try to focus more on my review. Now, all in all, I think the Gates to Infinity is the mid-ground, and just like always, my cat goes to join me every time I tell you. But I think it's about the mid-ground of the Mystery Gungeon series. Okay, yeah, my cat tried to knock over my computer. But anyway, it is definitely ahead of Super Mystery Gungeon in my favor anyway, but the prior installments are a bit ahead of it. That's just like in my opinion. Now I am going to give you an actual critique of places what works and what doesn't, but I'm just saying, like, again, this is personal preference. I'm not saying that all in all, like, in majority that it's the mid-ground. I mean, some people might find it's the weakest in the series, and some people might find it's the best. That can happen that way. I just say it's mid-ground. Honestly, I'm gonna go like in the others, piece by piece on different details, like the graphics and the audio and all that. Like I always do, the challenge. And my cat is not letting me focus. Anyway, the music and the audio are fair enough. Like, the music is really well done. Like, it's well placed is a big word for it. It's very either catchy or awe-striking. Like, there's no real complaints on the audio. No real complaints in the audio. The visuals are really well done. It is the first Mystery Gungeon game on the 3DS platform, so it shows it's actually better than some graphics, I think. I mean, I'm sure right as of that point, it was really breathtaking. The visuals, like, are all around good. The models for each Pokemon are well done. The dungeon designs are good. Just the visuals of, like, everything else, like the water and the grass, like just the overworld. That's the best. That's how to explain it. It's really good or well done. Like, we'll say, and the animation is the same thing. Like, there was a scene in my Let's Play that I'm doing where Hydragon literally carried Partner and I, and that was just amazing to watch. Now, the challenge, I would say that this series, or this installment, is one of the easiest of the Mystery Gungeon series. For the reason that they give you plenty of time to train after about the third way in, or second halfway in. I'm sorry, the cat just keeps getting at me. Wanting my full attention. Okay, but back to focusing. It gives you plenty of, like, they give you companion mode within the third of the game, which allows you just to go and skip the story for a while and just level up and train. And the thing is, all the Pokemon you recruit will gain experience, even if they haven't gone into a dungeon. So, by the end of the game, or if you played for hours in companion mode, they'll be OP easily. Now, they do have challenging bosses, right? You do have to think about what you're doing. Like, you have to know what items, if you know, like, thing is, if you're an expert on this type of thing, and you know what items to bring into each dungeon, you mesmerize the Pokemon that are in the dungeon, then it's pretty easy. Like, it's pretty easy for you to play. Now, I mean, like any Mystery Dungeon game, the layouts and the dungeons can be tiring, like any game. So that's a little bit normal, but they are pretty merciful in the main game, or in the main game, they're very merciful. I think the highest level dungeon you can go into is 17 floors. You might go to. My cat is not letting me record. But anyway, like, you might have to go through 3 or 4 dungeons at a time, which I went through one that was 17, 12, and 10 at one point. So altogether, the floors are pretty tiresome, but per dungeon, it's pretty merciful. Like, unlike some of the other ones that had like 30 in one floor, for 20 or more in one floor for a main game. That's pretty good. As I said, like, it can be challenging if you're drastically under-leveled, which is, in this game, is almost impossible to be, unless you choose to just not train at all, except for, unless you decide to continue the story without training at all, then you should be good to go, and you know what items to keep with you at all times. You should be good to go. So, out of all the Mystery Dungeon games, this is the most merciful, because the later installment, Super Mystery Dungeon, is the complete opposite. I can see, as I said, as in my other review, I can see why they did what they did, because they're going to those people who like those Rogue-style games, and I do respect that. But it's funny how you jumped from this game to that game, is my point. Like, they choose this game to give to you before they give you the super hard game. Because people get too lazy and used to doing what they're doing, and boom, boom, boom type of thing. So that's it for me. For my preference, I really like that. It gives me time to relax and to breathe when I'm playing it. Like, I don't have to just focus on the story if I want to just play it. A lot of other games I let's play, I have to literally have the game on. When I have to record it, because I can't miss anything. As long as I'm careful when I go to companion mode, if I go to companion mode after I've just did a dungeon, and there's no cutscenes, that I can play it without having to record it, which is really good, I said, in my opinion. Now, the story. It's, I would say, a little bit, it's not Explorers of Sky or Time or Darkness, but it is a pretty compelling story as it is. Pretty much the story is, obviously, spoilers. Your Pokemon get sent to the Pokemon world and you meet a partner, and together you try to build a paradise. That's like a half of the story. Anyway, that's like one big point of the story. And then the other point of the story is that there's this big giant coldness coming called the bitter cold that is created by Pokemon's negative emotions, and if it's not stopped, it'll destroy the whole world. So you are called on to destroy the bitter cold, because it has been too strong for Pokemon to go after it, and they thought a human would handle the Pokemon's negative emotions better. So it is decently compelling, right? In a way, the characters are pretty well put together. Well, maybe one thing I gotta complain about when it comes to character development. spoilers again. Hydragon. He is built up to be the villain at first, right? And you have to say the Pokemon Muna, right? And turns out it's the other way around. And that's like, it worked fine up till that point, till the reveal. Once you meet Hydragon, you will never look at another Hydragon the same again. I mean, and when I say that, I don't mean in a really good way. I mean, you'll look at it as if it's a clown, right? This Hydragon is literally comic relief gold if people just want all comic relief. Hydragon is built up to be the scary Pokemon, and I know he's the good guy, and that he should be good, he shouldn't be a monster, but they overkilled his good guy persona. They made him look like a childish oaf. Like, there's a time where he's like, oh, did I do good? Did I do good? As if he's looking for approval from a parent. And when your partner was talking about the big scary Hydragon, because that was before you quite knew Hydragon was a good guy, he's like, what? Where? In other words, he got fooled for like, I know it was only felt like 5 seconds or one scene, but he was scared of his own shadow pretty much. Like, I'm sorry, but I mean, next time I battle Getsis on any of the games, I'm never going to see his Hydragon the same way again. I'm just going to be laughing next time I see it. Now, I always did have a visual plan, but for one, I don't know if I'll be able to show you anyway, because I'm not good with editing. But if not, I'll just add a stupid picture. It could have the background in it if it wants. I would easily replace Hydragon with Dino. And I don't mean the Flintstones, I mean, his first stage evolution. Because that is proportionate to being a child, right? Hydragon's a big child. I'm sorry, but okay, I know, like, there's different characters, all of them have different characters, some are funny, and that's fine, but for example, I'm trying to think. Pokemon like Emolga, who played that trick on you once you returned from Glacier Palace with the Frisms you gave him. The prank he played on you. Now, that I could see coming from Emolga. He's the perfect type of Pokemon for comic relief. And, okay, like, if anything, like, the only other character if I had any sort of trouble with, and it's not even that I have trouble with, is Girder a little bit. But then again, he's mixed of emotions. He's sort of a tough-looking Pokemon. He starts out as a mini-boss, then he ends up joining your team, or your paradise. And he has this ongoing joke of him swooning over Virizion, one of your Pokemon that you take along with you. And anytime she says something, he agrees with her. Like, there was a scene where you were telling them that you were a human, only your partner knew before this. He was about to say, I just can't. And then when Verizon's like, I believe it, I can't believe you guys didn't believe, like, to be fair, I guess that's a pretty good joke, and that is okay in his character. I forgive this more than with Hydragon, right? Like, I'm sorry, but it just, every time Hydragon opened his mouth, I couldn't get over it. Like, something would come out. There's only been 1 or 2 times that he was serious, portrayed as serious, and what his character should be like. Like when he explains about the voice of life and what he is and why he sent you to this world. But then every other moment, he's like, I'm sorry, but it just kind of irks me that way. Like, as I said, I don't mind that he's a good character, right? Or the actual good guy and the one that was being threatened, right? But there's so far you can go, and they went a little too far with his betrayal. As I said, I'm never taking Hydragon seriously again. I mean, the next time I play the game, I probably will burst out laughing. But to be fair, he is very strong, and when you get to use him, he proves his worth. But it's just the character just doesn't sit right with me. I mean, next time you could mellow down his personality. Thing is, it's a little late to have a big comic relief like that anyway. By the time you beat him, you already had Emolga and other characters that worked. As I said, it's funny. I mean, I suppose it works that way. It's funny, right? And I suppose it's a so bad it's good type of way. So, yeah. But anyway, the story is really well done for the most part. The character development is really good. Verizon is the best example of this, with how she went from not trusting anyone in this whole world to joining our team and building trust. That is fantastic. I think that gets the highest rating in my opinion. Now, after me saying all this, why is this still mid-ground? Well, I think it is the challenge aspect that throws this off a bit. The other two games' stories haven't been as full, except for maybe the Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky, which I honestly think are the best, entries in the franchise by far still. But they were challenging enough for people to enjoy. Now, if I was just going on my complete own personal opinion, and if I was just only going by what I would like, I would probably put this ahead of the Explorers or Blue Rescue Team in that anyway. I still always hit by Explorers of Sky, Time, and Darkness being some of the best of the franchise. This would probably be a close second for me, and the others just follow that. So if I gave this a rating, I would give it an easy 7.5 out of 10, because it is a solid thing, but I don't think it'd be any higher. If I did have to rate it higher, maybe I'd give it a full 8 out of 10, but that would be my highest I would give it, because there are its faults, Hydragon, but it really isn't that bad. It's really good. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this review, give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video.